Hello, friends, and welcome to Pathologic, Volume 1, Episode 18. Today we are going to be looking at a Yajilin puzzle, which is a genre that will have some things in common with the simple loop puzzles we did recently, so we'll be able to stretch those muscles a bit and incorporate some other twists and turns that we'll have to deal with. So this should be fun. As always, I want to remind you that you can play along by clicking the link in the description, or you can just watch me try to solve this, and hopefully I'll do a little bit better than I did the last couple days. And let's enjoy it together. But first, let's take a look at the rules. Yajilin is both a loop puzzle and a shading puzzle. The rules are as follows. Shade some cells so that no two cells are orthogonally adjacent, and draw a non-intersecting loop through the centers of all of the remaining empty cells. So, you can see here that we have a loop much like we saw in a simple loop puzzle that goes through all of the cells except a few of them that we have marked as shaded, so they're basically obstacles that the loop has to go around. Also, the no two shaded cells are orthogonally adjacent, meaning they are not adjacent horizontally or vertically. Diagonally is allowed. Clues cannot be shaded. These are the clues. And they represent the number of shaded cells in a straight line in the indicated direction between the clue and the border of the puzzle. Clues see through each other. So that's saying, this 2 is saying that between this clue and the edge of the grid, there are exactly 2 shaded cells. It does not count the whole row, just in the direction of that arrow. And if this had been arranged so that, let's say, this 0 were one cell to the left of where it is, the 0 clue would be applying to the whole column because it sees through other clues. It would be saying that this is not shaded, this is not shaded, this is not shaded. As it is, these 2 clues don't see each other, so that doesn't apply in this example. But you can see from the example solution that we do have a complete loop that goes through all of the cells, that this clue sees no shaded cells and this clue sees 2 shaded cells. It's okay to have shaded cells that are seen by no clues, like this one right here. Those are the rules of Yajilin, so it's time to solve a puzzle. Today's Yajilin puzzle was set by Jovial. Alright, so what can we deduce right away? I see a pattern that is interesting to me to begin with. We've got these two clues that are looking at each other, and they both mean that there are 2 shaded cells in that direction, in the corresponding direction, but one of them is up against the wall. And because of that, this 2 has to be fulfilled by 2 cells in between the 2, which will completely take care of this other 2, meaning these last ones couldn't possibly be shaded. Now, there's another way I see that we could have made that same deduction that neither one is shaded. We could also see that if either was shaded, the other wouldn't be, because we can't have 2 shaded cells next to each other. And whichever way we do that, we're going to end up with a 1-cell dead end. And that's a problem because this is also a loop puzzle and the loop would have nowhere to go. So for 2 different reasons, neither of those are shaded. And let's use our loop logic to know that this cell that's in the corner here has to escape in both of these directions, and this one needs to escape in both directions. If that's not immediately clear to you, I recommend you go back in the video history to where we were talking about simple loop and look at some of the logic deductions we made there. While we're talking about that, we have a loop deduction we can make here. This endpoint can't possibly go east because it would close the loop too early. So it's going to have to go south, then east, and this can't go south for the same reason, so it's going to have to go east. Okay, so now let's go back to this little stretch where we said we needed to have 2 shaded cells. We can know a couple things about where those shaded cells can be. We can't have a shaded cell that leaves a one-cell dead end. So this is not a shaded cell. For the same reason, this can't be shaded because it would leave a one-cell dead end. And now that leaves only two places we could put shaded cells. And we mark the adjacent ones as unshaded. The interface helps remind us that we have dealt with a clue by graying it out. Now we can do the same loop logic to do that. We can't close early, so this goes to the east. This one, we don't know if it goes west or south. We just know that some loop hits that somewhere. Okay, now these two clues, we talked about two clues that are facing each other with the same number. These clues are kind of back to back with the same number. And that has a similar kind of a parallel type of deduction we can make there. Since there is one cell in this stretch that is shaded, we know that from this clue. This clue's 1 is going to have to be taken care of by that same cell, which means that these two couldn't be shaded. Otherwise, this would be at least a 2 in that case. Which cells can we eliminate from consideration here? Well, this would make a dead end right there, so that's not shaded. This would make a dead end right there, so that's not shaded. So it's one of these two. How about this one clue? Could it be this one in the middle? No, we'd actually make two dead ends there, so it's not that. So it's one of these two. Okay, we haven't eliminated anything completely yet, but we can actually just shorthand this a bit. Anytime we would leave a one-cell dead end, we can't shade that cell. So that's going to be that one from this side, this one from this side. Both of these would cause dead ends. This would cause a dead end right here. This would cause a dead end. This would right here. This one would right here. This one would here. All right, those are the ones that immediately jump at me. I might be missing one or two, but let's see what we can do with that. We now have a place where we can do some looping. That can't close. It's got to go up here and out. This can't go up. It's got to go left. Now this one clue in this whole column, there's only one cell that possibly could be shaded. It's that one. So this loop keeps going this way. There's got to be a loop that goes into this cell. Now we've got the opposite kind of thing happening right here. Whereas before we were trying to avoid shading something that would make a dead end. Now we have a dead end, and we're going to need to shade it in order to avoid it being a dead end. So that right there gets shaded, and that means this one clue is completely fulfilled. We should mark this as not shaded. We should take care of our corners there, there, there. This is also in a virtual corner now, there. Great, so now we've got a thing that happens in loop puzzles where, what about this cell right here? We can't draw a line into it from either side because it would continue and then close this early. So this would be a deadly pattern in a normal simple loop puzzle, but here we can deal with that problem by shading that cell. So now this one goes up. Now we've got another dead end that we need to make not a dead end. So that gets shaded. This one clue is done. Actually, both of these one clues are done. We've got a corner here. We've got a corner here. We've got a one clue that needs to be fulfilled with only one place left for it right there. This has to come up. This is in a corner. And now we've got most of this taken care of. This one clue needs a shaded cell in that column yet. This one, of course, doesn't count because it's below the arrow. So this gets shaded. This comes down and to the right. This goes to the right. This one, this is unshaded, and so now we've got a corner right there. This is in a little alleyway. It's got to keep going. We've got another dead end that needs to be shaded. And this is all coming together. This one clue has only one possibility here, and we'll be able to loop right around and close it up and check our work. And that is how you solve a Yajilin. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and check out the description below for more free puzzles.